one of the biggest feel-good stories of the night. So there were a couple of them, AJ, and I kind of want to talk about a couple of the other ones. But Dustin Stoltzfus, he picks up a win, and in his post-fight interview, it was very honest and it was very vulnerable, and it felt like he needed this win not to keep his job, if that makes sense. So this is a bigger picture. When you need a win for your spirit, you need a win for your mental, for your psyche. And he got it against one of the scariest dudes you can get it against, man. Puna Soriano. He submits him in the second round. But the more impressive thing here, AJ, isn't that he submitted him. That's probably the least impressive thing. It's that he outstruck him on his way to set up his grappling to submit him. Yeah, outstruck Puna Soriano in his most dangerous rounds. Was this all things were firing for Dustin Stoltzfus? He just had the answers tonight? Or did Puna not show up? What do you think?
I'm leaning more towards the Stoltzfus, coming into his own, if you will, because there's nothing in my mind that when I'm trying to think of the Punahele performance, right? There's nothing where I was like, he was a lack of step, or he just wasn't thinking about this, or he just kind of got a little confused in there. But more so, Dustin Stoltzfus was just that half step ahead. He was seeing the things unfold as he could. And like you said, when you outstrike Puna, you avoid the big bombs, you take him down, you do all the right kind of techniques. Nothing much Puna can do against you because that's his kind of style of fight. So I give more acclaim to Dustin Stoltzfus in staying calm, staying composed, especially when you have an absolute marauder like Puna Soriano throwing heat at you. It's a scary situation, and Stoltzfus really rose to the occasion.
Yeah, I love that story, and I wish I could echo the sentiment, but I can't, man, because I felt like there was something missing in the Puna camp, and this is what I feel like was missing. So I think that his loss to Roman Kopylov trickled into this matchup, and this is my opinion, right? So I could be wrong, I could be right, but this is just like from what I saw. It looked like he didn't want to push the urgency too much in the beginning of the fight. And I think it was a cast tank, a cardio issue, right? To say, all right, this dude's going to try to wrestle. If he brings out that wrestling, I got to be ready to go. I want to make sure that I'm still all cylinders firing rounds 2, rounds 3 if I can't get him out of here. I landed with the left hand, rocked him, wobbled him a couple of times. And then all we saw was right hand, set up the left hand. Right hand, set up the left hand. Left hand, left high kick, left hand. And all of us were screaming. His coaches, everybody on Twitter were like, bro, string them together. Throw a right hook behind it. Like, you can't just keep throwing the left hand exclusively. Commentary team. Puna's only throwing that left hand, right? So when we saw that time and time again, we saw Dustin Stoltzfus throw a million teeps to Soriano. He eats them and just chilled. All right, walks forward, reestablishes. He let Stoltzfus dictate where the fight took place, dictate the range, dictate the pace, kind of dictate everything. And then once he started working the grappling, it was already over at that point, right? So Puna's already starting to breathe a little harder, getting a little frustrated, can't really land the big shot. And then Stoltzfus chokes him out. So that's my take on it. A little frustration on the side of being a fan of a guy in Soriano. So not even from a betting perspective, but being a fan of a guy who has all the tools that just didn't seemingly put it together. That's what I saw. Now, am I wrong, AJ? Am I a disgruntled fan? You know what I mean? Or am I a dude who's like, fuck, Soriano, plus 130 TKO, that was a smash. You could have had that. What do you think?
No, I don't think you're wrong, Derek, but I still do think, ironically enough, that sentiment that you're saying actually echoes what I'm saying as well. Mm-hmm. Because when you're going in there, you're confident. Maybe, the Roman Kopylov loss and the output and effort and everything like that, maybe that's in your mind. And then it starts to become that self-fulfilling prophecy whenever you think, okay, I need to have a lot of output. Every time I do, Dustin Stoltzfus is just a half step ahead of me. Every time I'm looking for this, man, he's avoiding these. Or, I hit him with my big bombs, and now he's back to normal. Now he's still bouncing around. He's doing all this. What's going on? And it becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy of, what do I need to do? Do I need to overextend myself? Well, then I can get put out. Like, do I need to do something different? Well, then I can get choked out. Like, there's all these things that can go on in the mind of a fighter. But I still think it was Stoltzfus that's able to have that performance that makes Punahele Soriano kind of get in his mental about it, if you will, because you're right. There was a lack of output. There was those big bombs. And whenever you doubt yourself in a fight, you go back to what you do best. And what Puna does best is take your head off. But it's not in a combo. It's in big bombs. So that's why I'm not too shocked by it.
I mean, look at these numbers, man. 78 of 140 for Stoltzfus, 33 of 76 for Puna. That's what I'm talking about. There was no output right there. So when you throw one at a time, the dude who's just chopping away at the legs, at the body, at the head, that's the guy that's going to do it. 4 of 7 on takedowns. That's the other thing. We didn't see Puna try to shoot. It was just a rough performance right there. So that's really all that I have to take away from the Puna side. But again, Stoltzfus was firing on all cylinders, man. He put it together this go round, and one of the things that I thought was the best is he said, "Hey, I was really scared for this fight, man, and sometimes that takes a lot of my energy away on fight night. Sometimes that hampers my performance, but today I got the job done." So again, a man who did not need a win just to save his job, even though 1-4 in the UFC, you got to get the win. You have to at this point. But a man who needed a life victory, and I thought this was a big life victory for Dustin Stoltzfus and for those who life's knocking them down and they don't quit and they don't give up on themselves. That's the feel-good story right there. Do you agree?
Absolutely, folks. Sometimes, I don't know about y'all's jobs, but sometimes I know for sure in mine, I'll be sitting there thinking, man, I need a win. And it's when you fight the hardest, you grind it out, you get your teeth a little dirty in there, you get the win, and it feels even better. And this performance, Dustin Stoltzfus.
That's right. So shout out to Dustin Stoltzfus. This was a action-packed main card.